My twin sister and I were adopted during the baby scoop era, post-World War II through the early 1970s, when birth moms were not involved in the adoption process. Adoption agencies were charged with matching babies with adoptive parents. So other than the presumption that their child would go to a family with the same religious preference, birth parents were not privy to the prospective parent list. They weren't offered a say-so, and they didn't expect to weigh in. Once the relinquishment papers were signed, birth parents were prohibited from all future contact with their birth child. When it was clear that my 26-year-old birth mother was pregnant and my birth dad wasn't going to marry her, she and a close friend left their hometown for Chicago. There, my mother met with a Catholic Charities social worker for an intake interview. In 2010, I petitioned the agency for the non-identifying information in my adoption file. I learned my birth parents were both teachers at the same elementary school and were involved in a relationship. They argued extensively about religion and forced marriage. A Protestant, my birth dad refused to convert to Catholicism. In those days, it was unacceptable for a Catholic to marry a non-Catholic. In the interview, my mother also disclosed that her parents would disown her if they learned of her predicament. Without a spouse or familial support, my birth mom was forced into adoption. Because of her Catholic faith, abortion was out of the question. In the 1950s, society judged unwed mothers harshly. Unmarried women who found themselves in the family way were considered serious sinners, people of low values and morals. Parents of unwed mothers shunned, hid, or sent their daughters away until the pregnancy was over. Often these women were not welcomed back home. Some became permanently estranged from their families. In that 1958 intake interview with the Catholic Charities social worker, my mother admitted she felt deep shame, regret, and humiliation. Her overriding fear was that she would be found out. The social worker encouraged my mother to take an alias, and she welcomed the idea. The false identity protected her against anyone, especially her parents and large family, from learning about her situation. For adoption purposes, assuming an alias was entirely legal. The fake name my mother chose appears on my original birth record, or OBR, a detail that made it difficult for me to locate her when I needed to do so. During her pregnancy, my birth mother lived in a woman's home in Chicago. During her stay there, she did not meet other women who had already made the adoption journey. She received only basic prenatal care, and she did not create an adoption hospital plan, as birth mothers in open adoption now do.